Hello and welcome to the Holiday and Cruise Clinic, the programme which, over the next 30 minutes, aims to answer all your questions on holidays, cruising and travel in general. Shortly, we'll be discussing an up-and-coming holiday destination, plus finding out about fluid pricing. But first, here's how you can get in touch with your questions. The website details are www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk. Just click on Programmes, select the Clinic page and submit your question online. If you want to email us directly, it's clinic@holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk, and we'd welcome your postcards and letters as well to the Holiday and Cruise Channel, Cavendish House, Brighton Road, Liverpool, L22 5NG. And whilst you're getting in touch, if you'd like a copy of our first time guide to cruising, here it is. Everything you wanted to know about cruising, but were afraid to ask. Just give us a call now on 0871 423 4444. That's 0871 423 4444. Calls cost 10p a minute from a BT landline, and calls from other networks and mobiles may vary. Now to our next destination for holiday advice. It has year-long sunshine, pristine beaches and a cosmopolitan lifestyle, but it may not be on the top of your holiday list. Tracy Worthington from the Liverpool Cruise Club is here, and tell us more about the particular country that we're talking about.
Well, today we're going to talk about Abu Dhabi.
Okay, so yes, something that wouldn't necessarily be on your holiday list, but you've got a lot of expertise in this particular area, haven't you? Tell us a bit more about the country and, for example, how long it takes for us to get there, first of all.
It will take approximately 7 hours. They now have a direct service from Manchester and London, so there's no stopping. It's great all the way there.
And what can you expect when you get there then, Tracy? It seems to me the sun is shining most of the time there.
Most definitely. Beautiful sunshine, hot days, the beach. What more can you ask for?
Well, plenty of other things apart from that, I'm quite sure, but we'll be discussing a little bit more about those in the few minutes to come. The best time to go, I mean, any time's a good time for sunshine, isn't there? But it can get really hot there, can't it?
Abu Dhabi is certainly hot all year round. It's recommended certainly to go in our winter time. In the summer, the temperatures are really very high and it can get really hot and humid. So it's recommended probably from October, November time through to about March, April time.
And can you give us an idea of sort of what temperatures we can experience if we're going in our winter time? Is it you know, similar to summer temperatures we get here?
Certainly I would say a little hotter than what we get here. It's certainly nice. I would say around about 80s, 90 degrees in our winter months.
Okay, and that's their winter months as well, so flipping heck, it must get pretty hot in the summertime.
Yes.
Brilliant. Okay, we better just explain a little bit more about where Abu Dhabi is as well in the scheme of things.
Abu Dhabi is the United Arab Emirates and it's in the Middle East.
Okay. There are various laws and things that we have to abide by, isn't there, when we go there? For example, appearance and drinking are some of the things that are very important on some people's holidays, absolutely. But what do we need to bear in mind, particularly, for example, women covering up and where you can have a drink?
You do have to understand it is a Muslim country. You have to abide by their rules. It's recommended to cover your shoulders and below the knees. The rest of you, that you're perfectly fine.
Okay, is that just when you're going out into public areas, or would you need to be like that around the pool?
No, if you're in a hotel at the pool area, then you're fine. You can wear swimwear, that's not a problem.
Okay, and having a swift half or something at lunchtime or after a hard-working day by the pool, what are the laws concerning alcohol?
The hotels do sell alcohol. They do have to have an alcohol licence. You certainly they won't have bars like you would here in the UK and go out to a bar. So you do have to go into the hotels where you will be able to have a drink in the hotel bar.
Okay, so hotels are the best places to go to then, really, aren't they?
They are, yes.
Okay. Would you go to a restaurant or would you eat mainly in the hotels?
You would mainly eat in the hotels, or you would go to another hotel. The different hotels have different cuisines, whether it's a Mexican, Lebanese, a Chinese. So you would go to the different hotels, certainly to have an evening meal or lunch.
I would think that's one of the main selling points about the country, really, because it's a fairly young country. You've got all these different cultures there, haven't you? So they all bring with them their own little bit of food, and you can experience some food that you certainly wouldn't have had in this country, for example.
Well, certainly on my travels, I've never had Lebanese food, so it was a great experience. I went to a hotel and we ordered various different things that you wouldn't normally do, something a little bit different, but it was really good.
Good. And you wouldn't have to worry too much about UK food, would you, over there? Or can you still get you know, you wouldn't want to roast in those temperatures, would you? But you may want to watch the football, though. That's what I'm thinking.
They still have their McDonald's and they still have their British bars in the pub, in the hotels, so no problem at all.
OK, so no excuse then for going and having a bit of fun and enjoying a different country. The hotels, I would imagine, are very high standards, aren't they?
The hotels are very high standard. Having been out there and stayed in various different hotels, it's very good to experience the location as to where you want to be in the centre of Abu Dhabi or a little bit out of Abu Dhabi.
Does that mean that it's expensive then in that case?
The hotels are not expensive. I found it very reasonable to eat in the hotels. Very not expensive at all.
OK, well, that's good. Because we're talking about the dirham here, aren't we? That's their currency.
They use the dirham, they do, yes.
And have you got any idea of how many dirhams we want to spend buying a beer or having a meal out?
It will cost probably around maybe about 5-6 dirhams, but it depends on the exchange rate and depends what you're ordering.
That's just for your drink?
That's just for the drink,
yeah,
yes.
Meals a little bit more than that.
They are, but again, they're not that expensive, depending where you go, what you want to do.
Mm. And if we were to buy some currency before we left, is the exchange rate favourable, do you think, generally, or...?
I did. I got my currency before I went, and then I had it, and there's no problems changing money out there. You can go to the bank, but it's easier to do it before you go. You know what you're getting. The agencies now will give you a little card, so you know sort of how much you're going to spend.
OK, you're on a bit of a budget, were you, when you were out there? What about if you want to take any of your credit cards with you and things like that? This is one thing that I'm always uncertain of when I go on holiday. Can I use my card from the bank in the UK to pay for things abroad with my PIN number? Certainly.
If you're going out for a meal and you're in the hotel and you want to use your credit card, that's not a problem. Most hotels will always accept Visa and MasterCard. I didn't have any problems at all out there.
Because you don't really want to be carrying too much cash around with you, do you?
That's right. And it's just from a safety point of view to have the card rather than carry around a lot of cash.
And does anybody still use traveller's checks these days, you know, for taking them abroad with you? Or do you think most people prefer real cash or the plastic? I think most people prefer real cash or the plastic. Good, OK. All right then, in terms of specific requirements from a paperwork, obviously you've got your passport. Do we need visas or anything like that, any injections? Well, you've got to have your 10-year passport. You must have 6 months validity on the date of return. The good thing is you do not need a visa. And at this stage, you do not require any injections. Nothing is compulsory. OK, so that means you can just pop off fairly quickly and at short notice, I would imagine. That's right. And not much problem with mosquitoes or anything, any flying around bugs while you're there? No, I didn't have any problems. You didn't have a problem No, anyway. I had no problems at all. Excellent, OK. Time difference, what about that? If we're going to have any jet lag, are we, when we go there, come back? Time difference is approximately 3 to 4 hours difference, depending on the time of year that you're going there. OK, brilliant. Sounds fantastic. Can't wait to go now. It sounds like you had a great time. I had a fabulous time. Well, thanks very much for now, Tracy. Stay right there because we'll be talking to you again in a few moments. Time for us to take a short break, but as I say, stay with us because when we return, Tracy will be continuing to share with us her experiences of Abu Dhabi. Hello there and welcome back to the Holiday and Cruise Clinic, the programme which gives you the opportunity to quiz our travel experts. If you have a question, then here's how to get in touch. Our website details are www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk. Just click on Programmes, select the clinic page and submit your question online to us that way. If you want to email direct, it's clinic@holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk. And we also welcome your postcards and letters the old-fashioned way to the Holiday and Cruise Channel, Cavendish House, Brighton Road, Liverpool L22 5NG. And don't forget, if you'd like our first time guide to cruising, here it is. Everything you ever wanted to know about cruising but were afraid to ask. Just give us a call on 0871 423 4444. Calls cost 10p a minute from a BT landline, and calls from other networks and mobiles may vary. Now though, back to today's clinic, and Tracy from the Liverpool Cruise Club is still with me. Tracy, we're talking about Abu Dhabi. It may not be on the top of everybody's holiday list, but as I mentioned a little bit earlier, year-round sunshine, pristine beaches, cosmopolitan lifestyle, sounds pretty perfect to me. You had a fantastic trip there fairly recently, didn't you? What was one of the highlights?
My highlight has got to be the Yas Marina circuit, the Grand Prix circuit.
Of course.
So for all you Ferrari fans or Grand Prix fans out there, what an experience. Fabulous day.
I mean, it looks stunning on the television, doesn't it? And they've obviously spent a lot of money making it look good.
That's right.
And this is the one that Bernie Ecclestone said that they want to put water on to kind of slow everybody down, make it a bit more of a race. How exciting that would be. But you had a great time going around it in a minibus of all things.
We did. There was a few of us and we had a minibus. They let us drive around the track.
Oh, really?
Whereas the Ferrari car may get round in 1 minute or however many seconds it does it in. We took 10 minutes.
10 minutes, and was that with a tyre change halfway around?
But it was fabulous to go right round. We did the whole circuit in the minibus and saw all the officers behind the scenes where the cars go into the pits. Fabulous.
Sounds great. And how long should I allow for that on my holiday if I'm going to do that?
You certainly need to allow a few hours. I would say a good half a day to go around and do the tour that they provide for you.
Sounds brilliant. And look at some of the wonderful, things that they have there, as well as the track. Sounds brilliant. What about other places that you might recommend in the time we've got there?
Well, we've got Ferrari World. Ferrari World is just next door. With Ferrari World, they have this roller coaster, and it's to experience how fast a Ferrari car or an F1 car will go. You've also got Heritage Village.
Did you go on that?
I actually did not go on that. I watched. It was too fast for me.
Because, if you don't mind me saying so, a girl recommending going to Ferrari World, it seems a bit more like a boys and men thing.
It is, but it was good fun. It was a great day out. And you can see all the cars and various different things that's taken place there. Okay.
If you fancy a day at the beach, are there any beaches to look at?
There's a great beach there, a nice white sandy beach. So yes, most definitely.
Okay, good. A bit of everything then. And if you also want to look at some of the shopping, while the boys go to Ferrari World, for example, make sure you get your husband's credit card, but you can have a great time there because there's some fantastic shopping experiences, aren't there?
There are. There's shopping malls there, designer clothes. Just make sure you take the plastic cards with you.
Absolutely. Well, Tracy, thanks very much for telling us about Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
Not necessarily at the top, but pretty close to the top, I would think now. Thanks very much for that. My thanks to Tracy Worthington from the Liverpool Cruise Club. And don't forget, if you have a question for Tracy or any of our travel experts, all you have to do is get in touch. Our website details are on the screen now. Just go and log on to www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk. Click on Programmes, select the clinic page and submit your question to us online. If you want to email us directly, that's perfectly possible as well. clinic@holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk. And we'd also warmly receive your postcards and letters to the Holiday and Cruise Channel, Cavendish House, Brighton Road, Liverpool L22 5NG. Now, something that is becoming more and more common when booking flights, hotels and cruises, something called fluid pricing. I haven't got a clue what it actually means, but hopefully here is a man with a better insight. It's our popular travel blogger, Richard Cross. Richard, welcome along.
Thanks, Phil.
Now, fluid pricing, tell us a bit more about it. What is the, for my benefit only, the numbskull's definition?
Well, it's also can be known as well as flexible pricing when you have demands in the market. So if a flight may become popular, you'll see that prices could go up. And it's also predominant in cruises as well. And you can also see when you book hotels.
Okay, so is this a bit like when I go and book my rail ticket, for example, because it does apply to trains too?
It does, yeah.
That if I book a couple of months in advance, it's cheaper?
Yes, totally, yeah. I'm going down to London next week. I checked last night online and my train price has gone up by 6 times now.
Blimey, so you already booked it a week ago,
I
did you?
I booked it about 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Good for you. So like most things that we talk about on the clinic, preparation is everything, and getting in there early is what you need to do.
Most definitely, yes. Often you'll find that if you book early, you get to enjoy more. With cruise holidays, for example, if you book early, you get extra maybe onboard credits or free car parking at the ports. But after a few months, that will get removed. You may find the cruise price goes up, and certainly those special extras will get removed.
So when we pop out and get our brochures, because I'm sure lots of us still do that, and look through at what holiday we might want to take during the summer break, are we then thinking you've got to buy it straight away to get a cheaper bargain?
Well, I often advise people to have a look round, inquire and book at the same time, because you could find that if you inquire in the morning and then come back and book in the afternoon, the price could have gone up by 10, 20 or even £100.
But so does that mean there aren't any last minute bargains to be had anymore? Because obviously the price goes up closer towards the time you want to take your holiday. That means that it's going to cost you a fortune if you want to go tomorrow or next week, surely.
Not all the time. You can get some late deals, some cracking late deals out there, but you've got to remember that if the price may be cheap, but you're not going to get what you want, the seat that you want, or the cabin choice that you want, or the sitting that you want. So my advice is always to book early as possible.
This also applies to hotels, which annoys me intensely, but it's something that we all have to just get along with and organise ourselves, you know, in order to get these cheap prices. Because I would expect necessarily, if you're phoning on the day of a hotel booking that you want for that night, for example, and they've got some spare rooms, do you think they'd want to sell them off cheaply? But they don't. They're really expensive quite often.
They are. I mean, these roadside lodges that you see, you often see signs outside for rooms from £20, £30. But if you go in there and then, you know, it could be well over £100. I've booked the lodges before, say 6 months in advance, and I have got it for the £30.
So Richard, in your house, you have got to be the most organised person for booking everything months in advance to make sure you get it for the cheapest possible price.
I do. I make sure I get the best deal available.
Brilliant. I might even be coming to you to book my holiday for me.
That's okay.
Thanks very much, Richard, for telling us about fluid pricing. Anyway, I know a little bit more about it. Thanks for that.
Okay, thank you.
Richard Cross there, thank you. And just before we go, one final reminder of how you can get in touch with your holiday, cruise and travel questions. Well, the information for the website is on your screen now, www.holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk. Click on Programmes, select the clinic page and send your question to us online that way. If you want to email, that's possible as well. It's clinic@holidayandcruisechannel.co.uk, and postcards and letters to the Holiday and Cruise Channel, Cavendish House, Brighton Road, Liverpool, L22 5NG. And don't forget, if you'd like our first time guide to cruising, if you're one of the people who hasn't yet had a cruise, then just give us a call on 0871 423 4444. Calls cost 10p a minute from a BT landline, and calls from other networks and mobiles may vary. Well, that's all we've got time for on today's edition of the Holiday and Cruise Clinic. Remember, we're here for you, so do please get in touch. Until next time, from myself and all the team, goodbye.